Alrighty, welcome back to Lesson Notes, and today I'm excited to bring you a video on distance wedges, specifically a 40-yard wedge shot. And so just for reference, the video on the left is going to be our starting point, and the video on the right would be the adjusted. And just like I do in all these videos, we always start with what is the problem. And the problem coming into this session is some contact issues, mainly fat, and then just an ability not to hit it as low as he would like, and then correlating with that would be hitting some like high pulls, because obviously if you're adding loft, the face is closing in most cases, so going to hit some high pulls. So when we're thinking about this, we got to think about what are the things that we're hoping to change. You can see the Trackman data there. You can see these both carried around 40 yards. The ball speed was around 46 for both of them, but everything around there is different. So that's kind of we'll talk a little bit deeper into that as to like how that correlates and what we're trying to change. But as I'm trying to change the things visually, I'm also trying to see the Trackman data change. So let's start with address, and you can see at address that he is leaning towards the target a good amount, which is good because his intent coming into the session was to hit these shots low. So right off the bat, there's nothing there. I'm totally fine with his body position, but the only thing that I'm really concerned about is his ball position being a little bit too middle for me. If I'm trying to hit something low, I think I would like to see that be a little bit more back at address. So that's kind of the first thing I was noticing. As far as dynamically, one of the things that I like to draw would be kind of a vertical line on the left side of the head or the lead side. And I'm also always checking, is the player moving towards the target? And we can see in this video, he's definitely moving towards the target. He's not backing out of it. So that's not the reason he's hitting it high. But so if we go to lead arm parallel here on the backswing, I think this is going to be our first clue as to why is he maybe struggling with hitting it low. And that would be an under hinge on the backswing. What I mean by that is if you were to kind of draw from shaft to lead arm, this line, that is well over 110 degrees. And, you know, when I coach little kids on the backswing, I tell them to make an L to L swing. And an L would be that this would be 90 degrees. It would be something a little bit more like that. So you can see this is very underhinged. Now, are there players that do that? Yeah, I think guys like Steve Stricker and Jason Day talk about not using their wrists. I would imagine if we threw them up here, though, they would probably be at an L. But let's say that you don't want to feel a lot of wrist in the backswing. That's fine. If the shaft were to load on the downswing this way, which would be lag, he would be okay. If we start to throw the club, though, so let me draw a line here. Okay, that's a terrible line. If we draw this, if he lags it, the shaft would actually go behind that line, so on this side. But if he throws it, it's going to be on that side. So here we go, moment of truth. Let's see what he does. And there you go. There is the throw. You can see the hands have barely moved, but there is definitely a throw. So when I see someone throwing the club like that, so they're underhinged and they're throwing the club, that is likely going to be adding a lot of loft at impact. If we go down to this right hip here, ideally at this position, the shaft is going to be stored much more this way. Let me clean this up a little bit, and it's not. So when we get to impact, you can see there is almost no shaft lean, and that thing is almost straight up and down. We'll just go like that. Yeah, pretty much pointing at his nose, and that is one of the reasons that he's hitting it really, really high. This would explain the angle of attack being really shallow. His downswing is very, very wide, which is not a very good recipe for hitting it low. If you're trying to hit a really high shot, the way that he is swinging would look okay. But for someone trying to drive it low, it's not going to work. So what he's doing with his body leaning left and shifting left is his attempt to hit it low, but because he has so much throw or so much width on the downswing, he tends to kind of hit it fat or just hit it high. And then the other thing you can see the club head speed difference is about 5 miles an hour between these two swings. And so as we play this up to the top, you can see he's got a really long follow through. When I see someone with that long of a follow through, I would bet if I was watching them from a distance, they're hitting this shot like 60 or 70 yards. So when he's only hitting it 42 yards, that tells you that's a really big swing, kind of like a floppish type swing. to only hit it 42 yards. So that was the other thing that was kind of alarming. I didn't love the symmetry. I wanted to see the swing in general much, much smaller. Okay, let's pop over to this adjusted swing. So right off the bat, the only thing it addressed that I told him was, let's get this ball more back. You can see this is pretty much just inside the trail foot, which is where I would like to see it for someone trying to hit a low shot. If you're trying to hit a mid or a high, then obviously having the ball a little bit more in the middle is fine. But if you're trying to hit it low, that is your lowest hanging fruit, is just throw that thing back there. Okay, secondly, on the backswing, I told him I wanted him to feel a shorter arm swing and to really feel that L position. So that's going to be an increased hinge. And you can see there, that is right at 90, much, much different than the other swing. I'll go back to that just for reference. Okay, so now there's a lot of more club or stored energy in that. And so as he comes down, you can see there's that first move. He's already coming down. It's not moving off of that green line quite as much as it was on the previous video. So now as we go down, you can see there's that same position we were earlier. I'll just go back. There you go. Pretty much the same. Again, it's not in slow motion, but we can see the shaft is pointing this way, for this one's already at the ground. And so when we get to impact, you can see there's going to be a lot more shaft lean coming into the ball because of the position that he created on the backswing. And you can see on this one, he's hitting 5.5 down, and now the launch angle is at 29. And it carried about the same, ball speed was about the same. Now, why is there a difference in club head speed? Well, what you're going to see on the follow-through is I basically told him to hold that off and feel some extension towards the target. And what that's going to do is take out some club head speed, but it's going to increase the ball speed. Think about this. He's swinging less, but he's having the same ball speed. How is he doing that? Well, that's basically through loft. Meaning if he launches it lower, you're going to get more efficiency. You're going to get a higher smash factor. You're going to get more ball speed out of a smaller swing. And that is really what I see good players do, is they do very small swings, but they get a lot of ball speed out of it. This is not short game. Short game is where you're trying to hit really high, soft shots around the green when you're trying to add loft. This is distance wedges. This is closer to full swing, where we're trying to see as much ball speed as we can in general. Again, that's when we're trying to hit low and mid shots. If you're trying to hit it high, obviously we're trying to kill some of the speed, but this is for a stock shot. We can see the spin went up. With the attack angle being more down, he's not going to have any of those fat shots. So if you kind of look at the difference in those finish positions, that would be. So in general, you need to be hitting your wedges lower. You need to be hitting them with smaller swings, but hoping that we create the same amount of ball speed. If you're someone who feels like you do these really big, massive swings, but the ball kind of rides up the face and floats, then this video is for you. Hopefully you found it helpful. Drop a comment if you did. And yeah, good luck the next time you practice your wedges. And hopefully that translates to the course as well.